Hello friends, welcome back to Noobs in Disguise. It's me, your boy Harstem, and I'm joined once again by a Lambo. Together we are Harambo, and we're here in a beautiful Terran versus Zerg. But first of all, Lambo, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. This is the first time I heard you say Harambo. And I like how you roll the R, so I think I'm going to copy that from now on. I like it.
I think it's important to have a good, duo nickname and to also have something special in there. Not sure why the R rolling is there, but it sounds perfect. I also, when we thought of the name, I thought it was such a good name. Well, I mean, people have been calling us like that for a while. And then I Googled it, and apparently there's a lot of memes of the gorilla that is dressed as Rambo. You know, Harambe, in the Rambo outfit with the guns and with the bullets like around his head, the supplies of bullets. So it's still the first thing you Google, but my goal in life is to be above the gorilla with the bullets on the head in the future in Google searches. Once we've achieved that, we can close the channel and go do something else with our lives.
I think that one is more doable. I have to beat an entire car brand myself, so...
The Lambo King, not quite as original as you would have liked.
Maybe Lambo King works, but Lambo is another difficulty.
All right, we have a TVZ here, and we're looking at the Terran here who sent in the replay. Now, neither of us is aware of what the actual level is, what the actual MMR is, but so far this looks honestly pretty good. The CC timing was extremely tight. The hatchery timing looked solid as well. I haven't spotted a lot of mistakes yet, to be honest.
Yeah, none so far. So I would say this is at least Masters League. You would think that in Diamond League people can play 2 minutes like they're supposed to, but it's not the case.
The flawless first 2 minutes are not around in Diamond quite yet.
No, I really don't think
Even
so.
Even
yeah.
if there's like nothing happens, like an unprovoked early game, basically, it's still mistakes.
In my experience, the first 2 minutes are not perfect usually, especially from both players. I think sometimes people can get the first 2 minutes down, but usually, more often than not, there's a mistake or two.
Interesting. Don't watch too many Diamond replays myself, but I always figure that in Diamond, like Diamond 1, they have like the first 2 minute build order down. I'm not quite sure what this SCV is doing here. I feel like he tried to block the natural, or the third base, but failed with it. Jumped in the main base with the Reaper immediately, and is rallying the Reaper across the map as well. This is the type of move that I do, is when I'm playing Terran.
That was probably an accident though. I think he forgot to change his rally point more than anything else. Super tight build from the Terran, 3cc, starport before Hellions. Now you can decide to go for gas before the Hellions as well or not. That's really up to preference, so either way it would be perfect. Other than the SCV, I'm thinking this is quite good so far. Zerg also spreading creep.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Terran as of late, and for a second I thought I recognized this game, but I don't think... I started counting the letters in generalize. So for the people that are not aware, when we anonymize the replays, the amount of the characters in the name have to be the same amount. So I was like counting generalized, and it doesn't quite match up with Harstem. So I don't think this can be me quite yet.
Well, do you play on your barcode though? I feel like the Ls, they might match up. Maybe you're getting tricked here.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't think so. Don't quite think so. Also, I don't build Liberators, so we're safe. We're absolutely safe now. But the early game looked very tight, and I was like, oh my god, this might be one of my games. It's going to be real embarrassing if I get the MMR wrong on this one. But also the Terran sent it in, and I know I didn't send in a replay myself. So I should have known, but it's just scary moments. Anyway, what's been happening meanwhile? Zerg has been spreading some creep. And we have Stim, Liberator, a very fast second barracks on the way. These Hellions haven't really done anything yet. So this is someone that is in like one of the first stages of the build order progression, you know? First you learn yourself the build order, and then you start using the units in the build order. And it feels like he's way too, like, extremely focused on the build order, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing, but it does show that it is not like high Grandmaster level or mid Grandmaster level.
Unless it's Piotr who does this every single time. I do agree with you, yeah. I mean, there are Terran players that are really afraid of the early run bys that played against one clown Zerg too many that just run bys early on, and they try to keep it safe with the Hellions. But yeah, he moved out even before there was a wall, so not quite safe yet either. He's even scanning for the creep and harassing at the same time with the Liberator. Running by because he sees the Queens are slightly out of position. And still saving the Liberator and the cars.
This movement is good. Like the car movement, it was a little bit risky, but you know, he did the professional drive-by and went out of there as well. Did the Liberator fly into a spore? What happened with it?
Yeah, it ran to the natural. I'm assuming it ran into the spore. Yeah, the spore has 1 kill. It's not even in an anti-Liberator position. Like, this is a Banshee spore.
Yes, but see, this is what got him, I think. He was thinking that the spore was going to be in the correct position, and he decided to fly over the mineral line because he thought it would be safe. So the shift click was perfect. The Zerg just was too slow to respond. If this Zerg would have been higher level, the Liberator would have lived.
True, true. Yeah, I got punished for good play there.
Exactly.
Very common for Terran players.
This is what's keeping him down as well. If it wasn't all these bad Zerg players with their clown builds, he would be high ground master at this point. You have bailing speed. This is very fast, no, for Bane speed, or am I crazy?
It's pretty fast, yeah. I think still standard, but relatively on the quicker side. And he has a later fourth base because of it. Since he's playing against 3CC, usually you can take it a little bit earlier. Okay, here's the first macro error from the Terran, which is going 6 guys. I know your Terran also likes to take too many geysers and then float 1000 gas by the 8-minute mark.
I'm a changed man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't ever take the gas anymore. Now I float the minerals instead. But I think it's better to float minerals than gas because you can just invest those into command centers, which always pay off.
Yeah, I mean, it's way better. Yeah. You can also just make Marines. I heard those are pretty good as well.
I've heard those rumors too. I'm not entirely sure if I believe them when I play a lot of Terran, but I have seen other people use them to great effect. Terran is up in supply and is up in workers, which I think is uncommon at this part of the game. His initial move out though is extremely late and has a crap ton of mines. For a 6 Hellion start with just a single starport unit, your first 2 medevacs popping out at 7:10 is legitimately like, what, 45 seconds too late, perhaps?
Yeah, it's because he made a reactor for the barracks with the starport instead of the factory. And then another reactor. And that's why he also has so many Widow Mines, because he made the extra reactor with the factory right away. And he's playing a mass Widow Mine style, it looks like here. Also, all of them bunched up, which is not the way you're supposed to use Widow Mines, to say the least. There's 7 Widow Mines right next to each other. Okay, he's pulling them back. And okay, now both players are starting to float a lot. Dude, the first 6 minutes were looking really good, but it's starting to fall apart quickly once the action starts.
Yeah, 2800 in the bank there for a second. And he queued up 6 Overlords to get rid of it. A Hydra, then an Infestation Pit, 2-2. Okay, he had to, and he's still floating 2k despite all of that. And 50 links. And this guy's a blast to hang around with. It's money laying around. Ooh. Yeah, the mine micro hasn't been perfect. But the Zerg's been doing an okay job sending units in, but just doesn't have enough stuff, it feels like, right?
He doesn't even have enough drones, so even trades would be pretty bad at this point for the Terran, who's macroing up continuously without really any big mistakes. And he's pushing forward. The Zerg really doesn't have that much anymore. But if he would split his Widow Mines, I think there's not much that can go wrong here. Barely lifts up his units, misses a couple. And the Zerg survives, but still 40 supply down.
Also, for future replay senders, we like the games to be a little bit close. Like, we're not interested in you giving a masterclass how to stomp at 3.8k Zerg. It's not a tutorial channel. Like, we want somewhat interesting games. Last week we had the ZVZ, which nothing happened in for the first 10 minutes. The replay was called the most interesting game. I'm afraid this one called the closest game I've ever played, in which the Terran is up 80 supply the entire time and wins the game 12 minutes in with a 2-2 push. Like, this is not entirely the point of this series, my friends. But
I think we should keep track of how many people send in replays where they lost out of all the ones we do, because I feel like the first week the only reason we had a replay where the guy lost was because it was submitted to a different series.
It's actually possible. I remember once in like a rank roulette season we got 1900 replays and 3 of them were losses. And most people don't have a problem with ego, don't worry about that.
Well, it's because only the games they're winning are the good ones.
Yeah. Just coincidentally, all the games they lose are awful. One-sided stomp. Yeah, this game is still just going on. Terran is up 50 supply. But now the Zerg has the secret weapon, the holy hand grenade of StarCraft 2 when it comes to lower than 5k MMR, and that's the Lurker. I've honestly seen professional Terrans be up 80 supply and 2 minutes later be down 80 supply. And let's see what the Lurker can do in this case.
I'm not sure if you're talking about yourself. Otherwise, I would like to fact check that, but you're not a professional Terran.
Gumiho versus DRG on heavy rain. You can fact check this. I think it was GSL like a year and a half or 2 years ago. I remember that game very clearly. Gumiho was up very far, Lurkers pop out, boom, game turns around.
Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, it's starting to happen here already as well. The Terran's kind of messing up with his macro. He's had his fort base for a while, but he's not doing anything with it. Right now he has a little bit of time, so he's morphing it into a planetary, but it's starting to look better for the Zerg. I don't think this is high enough MMR that the Terran can play correctly with Ghosts, so where there is a Lurker, there's a way.
That's true. And, I mean, the Zerg also doesn't have terrible eco. It's not like he's on 54 workers, you know? He has 78 workers. He technically has a 5th base that he could start saturating as there are 2 Lurkers there. Look at this fight. Oh my god.
Yeah. I have the feeling we're gonna get a whole lot more where that came from. I mean, the Zerg also has mineral for days. If he would just spend his minerals, he would be maxed out, so... it's really not looking that bad for him anymore. He's also not behind in upgrades anymore. He started his +3 pretty much right away. He has a lot of full energy queens. Starting up his Vipers. The 5th base has 2 Lurkers that are defending it.
Yeah, one move that I sometimes see with lower level Terrans is that they try to drop into the Lurkers. Or they stim quickly into it, pretending that they're surprising the Lurkers. But the Lurkers auto-attack, so it's not like a disruptor, you know? Where if the guy isn't paying attention, it doesn't do anything. This looked like the drop on the top side managed to clean up those 2 Lurkers. That's definitely a positive. We don't have Adrenal quite yet. I would like to see it, but sadly not the case.
I wonder if this Zerg is just gonna try to absorb the Terran punches for the entirety of the game. Because I don't think he's ever been on the other side of the map so far. He never even saw the 3rd base of the Terran.
He thinks he's playing as a 2 base on it.
Yeah.
Man, this guy must be running out of money soon. No way he believes that 3-3 is on the way here. I just never see that with 2 base all in. loving that there's so many things he could have abducted. He went for the medevac, which he had no anti-air for.
Yeah, that's not the best Viper control.
He gets a tank now.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't lose anything. And he transfuses the Lurkers as well. This is actually... It's so hard to judge these games for me. I have no real clue what's going on. Nice abducts, double abduct. It's quite fast as well, but the micro isn't entirely perfect.
Oh! Holy shit. Oh my god.
Epic Terran gameplay. There's like 3 Maya. 1 Maya 24, you know, like 16. Holy crap.
Oh, the Liberators just sitting on top of the Queens now. The Queens could rotate just around the Liberators, but they're gonna win the fight like that as well. Not sure that Terran judged that one correctly.
Yeah. Usually losing 5 Liberators for free is not the optimal play if your opponent has no other anti-air than Queens. 5th base is going to get denied again. I think this actually requires some clarity of mind from a Terran player. When you, like, it's so easy to just kind of get stuck into pushing to the front the entire time. But having these, like, small split-offs with the medevacs, I really think that's the sign of a slightly higher level player. So that was actually a pretty nice move. I'm happy to see stuff like that. Zerg has also stopped upgrading range upgrades and has stopped upgrading melee upgrades as well. Is continuing Queens and is still floating about, well, 6k resources without being maxed.
Yeah, that's just a given. He's saving up just in case the Terran manages to push through for a surprise second army.
Honestly, I think in these situations, getting an Ultra Cavern is pretty sick. Like, if you're not injecting very well, but you have a lot of cash, just get an Ultra Cavern. You can always spend your money then. You only like 6 larvae and boom, you're maxed again. I'm not sure how good Ultra Lurker is though.
Not great, not great. They have 0 synergy. But, I mean, Lurkers are... It's not like Lurkers are that cheap either. He's just not making units. He has the larva consistently. He's just thinking about which units exactly to make. He doesn't want to make any mistake here. Oh my god, he's just engaging into it. 3 Lurkers from the side. 5 Lurkers burrowed way off. I don't know what they burrowed for, but apparently the rocks. And now, yeah, that Terran just killed all the Zerglings for free. Now he's killing the rest of the Lurkers for free, and I mean, that engagement was not it for the Zerg.
Yeah, the Lurker trying to cut off the reinforcements while the Lynx went into the main army. Usually we see it the other way around, where the unit that can actually engage with the main army goes there, but this time I don't even think he killed a Marine there with the Lynx. This guy gained supply during the fight. This is unbelievable. However, Zerg, overall, the trades haven't been too bad. Only down 4k. Now, he is down a base currently, but still has a lot of cash in the bank. He can max out on this, can't he?
He can, yeah. He should just make more and more Lurkers. I feel like the engagements from Terran, the only good fight he took so far was because he didn't fight against any Lurkers. There were like 9 Lurkers, but they all came from behind and he didn't really fire, so more and more Lurkers I think is the way to go for the Zerg here, if he wants to come back. But yeah, the Terran army is looking really, really strong. It's just the question if he can control it. Oh, good EMPs. Okay, he absolutely cannot control it. At least against the Banelings, but thankfully the Ghost went to the right and the Banelings didn't, so the Ghosts are left alive and the Zerg is really struggling right now. Probably would wish he had an Ultra Cavern.
Yeah. Imagine that. 3-4 larva pop, boom. You build those 4 ultras, you can... Oh! Holy crap. I didn't think the Overseer stayed alive, I think. He thought the Overseer died. And then he just walked in there. Those Lurkers, like 3 Lurkers killing like 15 Ghosts, is a pretty nice trade. Usually if you kill 15 Ghosts, it's a good trade, no matter what you lose. Lose your entire army, but that's going to be worth it for sure. 14 more Banes on the way. There's still a lot of cash in the bank for the Zerg, but I think without the larva available and without any different tech structure, I'm not really seeing it happen here anymore, Lambo.
I'm not really seeing it either, but he's getting ready for the Muta switch, so maybe the Mutalist against the tank heavy army.
The classic 0-0 Muta. I feel like 2 Ghosts that get healed by a medevac would actually be capable of killing an infinite amount of Mutalists, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, not sure that math checks out. I mean, he's ready for making 30 Mutalisks right now. That's what he's been saving up for the entire game. The only issue is that he's starting to lose the hatchery, so he doesn't have the larva for the 30 Mutas.
There was a flaw in the flawless plan after all.
Yeah.
The one thing that messed up his late game Muta switch. The lack of larva. Ay. No GG either here from Recurrent. As Generalized does take the game. Beautiful game. Well done, my Terran friend. You absolutely destroyed this Zerg. That's what we want to see. And now the question for us is, what MMR do we believe these guys are? What are you thinking of, Lambo?
First of all, what server is this? Because I think it matters a little bit.
We don't have that information yet. The information is hidden in the same document that has the MMR. So I could tell you the server, but then I also have the MMR. So
No. Okay, let's not do that then. So this Terran overall played pretty decent, I think. The Zerg did kind of worse. I mean, the Terran had idle CCs forever, the entire time, so his multitasking wasn't really there. But other than that, his build order, his macro was pretty good. I'm not sure. Can you get GM like this? I'm definitely thinking high masters, low GM.
We need a number, Lambo, and we need.
You want me to give the exact number? Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say 4,950.
I was gonna go with 4,832. Okay.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah. Of course, always.
MMR is 4,217.
What?
Yeah.
Is that a Korean server?
European.
Jesus.
Yeah. The European server is filled with top-level Terrans. Isn't that crazy?
I honestly didn't think this was much worse than your off race.
Yeah, me neither. I was looking at it thinking, wow. I was thinking, man, this Zerg could really give me a run for my money. The Zerg was probably similar MMR. Yeah, it's terrible. I'm 5'5". Though. I almost hit 5'7" the other day. I'd like to say. Almost. I was very close. 5'6", 97. But, all right. Well, I got closer there with my, what did I have? 4,823. Tough luck, Lambo, this week. But I think you're still ahead in the overall ranking, which will appear right now on screen. I've been keeping track of all of it. So, I think that's going to be it for this week, no?
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it.
I also think the score should be 1-1, no?
No, we
didn't guess at the same time.
Points. We do points.
Ah.
Points overall. Then so we don't have weird ties at the end. And you can, if you're really bad, then you get punished for that. So I think that's only fair.
Okay, that sounds very fair.
We do need one more thing from our audience. Two more things. One, continue sending in replays infinitely. Make sure to state your server and your MMR. And send interesting games, please. Ones where things happen in the first 10 minutes. And that preferably are a little bit close. Second of all, I was going to say something very smart, but I literally just forgot. I can cut this part, right? I actually have something that was important. Right. The second thing that I had was that I figure at the end of the first season of Noobs in the Skies, the person who was furthest off in total needs some type of challenge or needs to do something as like a punishment, like a reward and a punishment. I think is only fitting for this show. Please leave in the comments what type of punishment you would like to see and what type of reward for the other player. I think that's going to be it for today, no, Lambo?
Absolutely, yeah, was a pleasure.
Was a pleasure. Adios. Subscribe, like, and comment. Bye. I'm starting, by the way.
Mm-hmm. The eyes are closed already.
I'm covering them with my hands as well. I'm not sure if it does anything, but we saved this already.
The double condom.
Double.